Now an update to a story we first told you about yesterday. Air Force One is an iconic symbol of the American presidency, but it might be getting a makeover. President Trump reportedly wants to update the design on the next version of the jet with a bolder and, quote, more American look. The current colors date back to the early 1960s. 10 presidents before Mr. Trump traveled with the same design. Kris Van Cleave is outside the White House with how the president is personally invested in the next generation of Air Force One. Kris, good morning.
Well, good morning. And don't forget, the president used to own an airline and has his own 757, so he's no stranger to deciding on the look of an aircraft. And certainly he's not afraid to shake things up in Washington, so maybe it's no surprise he'd look at making changes to the flying White House. Air Force One arrived in London looking as regal and presidential as it has for decades, but that iconic robin's egg blue could be about to fly off into the sunset. President Trump is said to be mulling a jumbo jet-sized makeover for the next generation Air Force 747s due sometime after 2020 that could include a red, white, and blue paint scheme.
Over the years, that plane has become the most iconic aircraft in the world.
Ken Walsh wrote Air Force One, a history of the presidents and their planes.
He's perfectly entitled to make changes in the current design. The question is, he's really messing around with history here.
Howie Franklin was the steward on Air Force One for 5 presidents. The idea of changing the plane's look is personal.
Well, I flew on Air Force One for 18 years, and still to this day, when I see Air Force One, even on TV, but when I see it at an event, if I'm there alive, I get tingled.
When the new 747s that become Air Force One when the president is aboard arrive, Mr. Trump would not be the first commander-in-chief to change up the presidential plane. President Truman replaced Roosevelt's nondescript sacred cow for the Independence, painted to resemble an eagle. John F. Kennedy, with the help of First Lady Jackie Kennedy and design genius Raymond Loewy, took the plane from this to the one we know today. So Kennedy wanted an airplane that built the brand of the presidency.
It's all part of this whole pattern of him trying to increase the visibility of the presidency as an active office and as a glamorous office.
When President Reagan ordered the current Air Force Ones, the look stayed the same. 11 presidents have now circled the globe on a plane Camelot created.
I think it'd be very difficult to make the next one look better, but it's possible.
Another of the reported changes under consideration, a bigger, better bed on the new planes. The current one is a bit like a sleeper sofa. And Alex, no one really likes sleeping on a fold-out.
Well, I don't know. It's a pretty iconic design, that Air Force One. Thank you, Kris.